Yo, yo, yo! What up? This is Scoozy, and I'm back with a brand new episode from the Block Vegas server. Now, last episode, we got ourselves another beacon and set it up here. Then we took a quick tour around the server to kind of catch up on all the things that had happened in the week that I was not recording videos. Yeah, and then we built a little bit of a squid farm right there. So, basically, for anyone who didn't watch the video, this is just a giant pit. All of these water sources stream down from the top to the bottom, meaning squid can spawn anywhere along the top of this. And because they're only a block apart from each other, you can get pack spawning. So you'll get up to 4 squid spawning at once. And as you can see by this guy, poor guy here, we cook the calamari, and then there is a minecart traveling on a track underneath, and it's picking up the ink sacs and putting them into an item elevator. So I built this thing, and then I AFK'd for, let's say, it was overnight, let's say between 10 and 11 hours. And I had, what is it, 9 in a row, so I had 11 stacks, so almost a stack an hour. Then this morning, I took probably about an hour and a half and worked on the river over there. And in that time, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 stacks. So definitely conditioning the river over here to prevent squid spawns is helping the rates on the farm quite a bit. I have it done now quite a ways out here, actually. All the way out here to this line, and instantly you can see the squid spawning on the other side because this whole section of river is unspawnable to them. So yeah, we're getting spawns over here. I'm going to keep this going, obviously, because it dips back closer to the farm over here, so this is a pretty important part to condition as well. And then this thing should be pumping out tons of squid ink sacs. Yeah, like probably more than I'll need, which is always what you're going for in a farm, right? So yeah, then I told you that I had an idea for how I'm going to decorate this, and I didn't really reveal it last episode because I didn't have enough time to kind of properly explain what I was going to do. So in this episode, we're going to start the decoration process. Now, my vision for this is to turn this blue square and probably some area around it into what looks like basically as if something from underneath punched a hole up through the ground. So we'll have like big protrusions of rock or maybe sandstone because we're in a desert. I haven't decided yet. And kind of a jagged perimeter, and then the inside will make to look like it's full of water. I won't use actual water. I'm going to do different, maybe wools, concrete powders, glass in various colors. I have some blues, and obviously I have cyan, the stuff to make light blue, all of that stuff. We'll do white. I have glass, I have wool, I have sand and gravel to make concrete, and yeah, so that's what's going to happen. And then in this kind of like frothy water will be a giant kraken I want to build. So mostly just like the big part of his head, and then some tentacles coming out in various directions. And one of the tentacles I'm going to have reaching out towards the hotel, and that's what I'm going to use to finish off this item elevator. Because right now, yeah. So right now, I'm using just this sandstone to create the like capture zone. For anyone who doesn't know how the item elevators work, they basically just push the item up through a stack of solid blocks until it finds the first air block. And so I've created the air block right here, and then there you just saw that. So the ink sac pops up, and then the hopper picks it up and puts it into the chest. So I'm going to use yeah, a tentacle to, I think it's probably in here, is it? Yeah. I'm going to use a tentacle to cover this up instead of this ugly sandstone, and then it will be more fitting. So I'm going to work on this area right here, kind of start to terraform it a bit to make it look like the hole, like I mentioned, and then I'll bring you back. This episode may be a little bit odd because it's probably going to take me a few days to work on this, and so there will probably be like a few jump cuts and stuff. So just to forewarn you, I'll be back in a second. Okay, so these are the protrusions of rocks that I spoke of to look almost like something's busting up from underneath the ground. Um, Now, don't mind the fact that it looks off-centered because it doesn't actually matter. Once this squid farm area is covered by our Kraken and the fake water blocks, then this will not look odd at all. It won't look off-centered. So let me take you down here and we'll try to get a view from the side. You can see all our craggly spikes. Yeah, so I think it's looking pretty good. So for me now, the next step is going to be the longest step, and that's going to be planning out and placing in the Kraken. I could do the water, but I figure if I do the water now, I'm going to be breaking a lot of the blocks anyways to make room for the Kraken, and it's going to cause a lot of back and forth that I can avoid if I just put in the Kraken first. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on probably the head and body. The tentacles are going to be based off of its position, so I'll do them afterwards, and they'll look probably a little bit like this anyways. These kind of organic spikies, but obviously a lot longer, so that they can reach out all the way to the hotel and whatnot. So yeah, this is it. I'm also going to go around probably and replace some of this grass here with some coarse dirt, so that the grass doesn't spread back to it, thereby aiding in the illusion that this is currently happening, or at least very recently happening. So all the freshly turned dirt will not have grass on it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to work on now for the next little bit. And once I have a little bit more progress to show you, I will bring you back for sure. Okay, yeah, I got a little bit of work done, just a bit of a basic shape, and it's looking a little derpy, so, give it a chance. Don't judge it too harshly yet, as it's just not done. Okay, so, it is a little weird when viewed from an angle, but not too bad. Of course, at an extreme angle, it gets a little weirder. And this is just the front half. I still have to do the back portion of it. Also, I'm not 100% sure about the head shape. I think I might extend this part up a bit and kind of dome it out a bit more. Like squids usually have their eyes near the bottom of their head, and then kind of a big part up there, if I'm remembering them correctly. So it is going to take some work up top, but what I'm thinking of doing first is going ahead and starting to add in the tentacles, working on that for a bit, and then coming back to the top of the head afterwards. I may have to change the shape of the head when I go to put the tentacles in and stuff, so I don't want to like finalize anything here until I've worked a bit more on the other elements. So that's what I'm going to get up to, and I'll bring you back and I'll show you when I have a little more of this done. Alright, I'm back. So I have the kind of basic shape in for a couple of the tentacles, and I just want to come back and give you a little look at kind of what I was thinking. So I'm going to do probably at least 3 more tentacles, one more here on the left side, and then at least 2 out back. I haven't changed the shape of his head at all yet. I'm going to work on that afterwards, but I just wanted to kind of come up here and get a look at the tentacles. Maybe this middle one here is going to have to come out a little longer. But yeah, that's the basic shape. So I'm going to crack along with this, put some videos on, grind away, and when I come back, I'll have quite a bit more finished. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I got quite a bit of work done since the last cut, and I guess I'll just go ahead and show you. Boom. So I've altered the head shape a bit and kind of put in this like wavy fin that they use for I'm sure it's just steering because they do most of the propulsion with their tentacles. I've added in the rest of the tentacles. Yeah, I went with 6 total, so there's 2 in behind the Kraken here that you can't really see. And yeah, change the eyes a bit so they look a little less derpy. They still look kind of cartoony, but at least they're not as silly looking. So yeah, I'm gonna probably just take off here and show you this from a couple of different angles. Try to kill my speed here. So there it is. I think I still have a bit of work to do here on the back of the head. Um, he's looking a little bit flat from the side, like a little like squished kind of thing. So I'll probably put a little bit more into the back of his head there. I'm not sure. But as you can see, I got all the tentacles kind of out and sprawling. And a couple of them are thicker and longer than the others, but that's kind of how it would be. They'd have maybe some more dominant tentacles, and then some that are less big and muscular. I have stone buttons and cobblestone slabs as their little suckers that they have on the bottom. I may have gone overboard, but I don't know. I like it. It's about the only detail that you can actually make out um, oh, on all this like kind of black background. But yeah, so that's the squid so far. The giant Kraken of Doom. So I'm going to put on a couple of videos and sit back and watch those as I'm working on the water here. I gotta get the water levels in and some splashes around the tentacles and stuff. And then this thing should be just about done. And I want to say I may have bit off a little more than I could chew here. This is the first kind of project I've ever built that's like this, like a 3D representation of something. And I went into it and just like kind of winged it. There was no real pre-planning. I kind of thought about it a bit, but yeah, building something like this in survival from scratch without a plan is kind of a tedious job. You're constantly ender pearling from there to somewhere where you can view it from. If I did this again, I would probably set up a camera account facing the front of this so that I could see that while I'm working. And another interesting thing about builds of this kind are that they look different from every different angle, and it's basically going to be impossible, I think, for me to make something that looks fantastic from all angles. So I went for what would look the best from the front, from like this area, because all of Block Vegas is that way so far, and if you're viewing it from my hotel, this is the side you're going to see. So yeah, that's where I focus my viewpoint. So from the sides and the back, it doesn't look perfect. I mean, it doesn't look perfect from the front either, but it looks best from the front, I guess I should say. So yeah, I'm going to get working on the water, and once I have that in, I will come back and we'll look at what we'll call the finished product. I may tinker with it some more, but it'll be done enough. Back in a second. Okay, so we got the water in place, as you can see. Yeah, I like it. It kind of fits the style, the simplistic kind of stylized style that this squid is. So I think it fits. If I had a little bit more room, I could probably have done some more kind of like wave shapes maybe. But I try to just keep like the darker colors to the bottom, and then the light blue is like the more splashed foamy water. And in a couple of places, I even have it just kind of like pouring over like that, or like this, just like carpet over top of the stone, which up close obviously looks a little strange, but like white caps on the water. Yeah, so we have the entrance to the farm itself kind of hidden here under a bit of a wave. Yeah, so all in all, I'm pretty excited with that. Yeah, okay, I do have those on. Flap in the air and give you a little bit of a aerial view from the side. Splash, splash. Very aquatic, very nice. Yeah, so all in all, with this project so far, I am quite satisfied. It's not exactly as I pictured it, but this was definitely a learning experience. And I will likely be tinkering with it over time. But for right now, yeah, the amount of hours I've put ender pearling back and forth and making small adjustments and stuff, I'm done with that for a while. So yeah, I think I'm going to call it quits on this for today. And yeah, next episode I'll move on to something else, and then maybe I'll come back to this in my spare time in the future. But I think as far as decoration for a squid farm goes, it'll do. It'll do. I'm gonna have to warn the other server members that there is a Kraken loose on the server, and that they should be cautious. Alright, so as I said, that's going to do it for me today. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, go down and thumb wrestle that like button. Show me a little bit of support. And let me know in the comment section if you like videos like this that are a little shorter with a lot more progression between the jump cuts, or if you want more of a detailed video where we kind of go through things a little more step by step. It's always good for me to know what kind of videos you want to watch, because then those are the kind of videos I can make. Yeah, so thanks for hanging out, and this is Scoozy. Until next time, peace!